Welcome to a brand new HWTV One-on-One. I'm your host, Jake Lancer, and today I'm joined by the reigning Mission League MVP and All-CIF Open Division first-team guard, Trent Perry. Trent and the Wolverines are trying to run back this historic state championship season and currently undefeated on the year. Trent, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're a busy guy.
Thank you for having me.
You guys recently went to Arizona to play Perry and Hoop Hall West, one of the biggest games of the year. How's the trip?
It was a pretty good trip, pretty solid trip. We just came out with the dub. We worked hard, and of course there were a lot of things against us. We had a slow start, but we were able to pull through adversity and end up coming back good with a win.
You know, compared to most like high school basketball teams, you guys travel a lot, right? This won't be the last trip of the year, I'm pretty sure. What do those trips do for the team? You know, like bonding experiences for the guys.
Oh, it just brings us together. I mean, with school, like it takes a lot out of our day. You know, not able to really see each other because we're always doing like homework and stuff like that. But like traveling, even away games, out of state, I mean, it just brings us together. We're always on the bus, you know, talking. Just even having a good meal, having lunch, having dinner, just bringing us together. And we always like chill in the hotel room. So it's really good bonding experience, really good for our team chemistry.
So there's a lot to get into, right? You know, lengthy basketball career already and only a senior in high school. But I want to sort of go back to when you started at Harvard West, like all the way in 7th grade, actually, you know. First day on campus, you have your, you know, Michigan State backpack on, big smile on your face. And, you know, we're there from Harvard West, like, since 7th grade, right? What, did you know you always sort of wanted to go to Harvard West? Like, what motivated that choice at a young age?
Honestly, no. Like, I didn't know anything about Harvard West. Like, I was a small kid from a small town called West Covina. And it was really my dad who said, you know, Harvard Westlake is a good place, like, for your academics, because we didn't know how basketball was going to be. Like, I was probably an average kid, like average, you know, not hyped up, but kind of known. But still, like, went to Harvard Westlake just for the academic purposes, and of course, like basketball. I love basketball, so I always continue to pursue that, and then just each day, every year, just working hard in the gym, and you know, fortunate to be in the position I am today.
You know, throughout your high school career, you've always carried yourself as a winner, and, you know, this sort of winning tradition that you've sort of built here at Harvard Westlake. That started in middle school. Did not lose a single game in 7th or 8th grade. It wasn't really a close game. I mean, it was a lot of blowouts. Would you say that's sort of where that winning tradition started for you?
I mean, yeah, I would say I also had great teammates in my middle school career, like you know, Robert Hinton, Michael Schneider, Echo Case, Josh Engelberg. You know, we had a stacked team. And, you know, just always having a competitive edge, you know, never wanting to lose, and just always trying to make a name for myself.
So then you get into high school, and it's sort of, it's a COVID year, right? So the season's a bit, you know, thrown off, but you're on a team with a lot of talented guys, a lot of veterans, and you're getting playing time sort of instantly. You're thrown into some high-pressure situations. Were you nervous at all as a freshman playing with guys that could have been, you know, 3-4 years older than you?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I was really nervous, and even just stepping into a new role, like Coach Rebo, when I stepped foot on the team, he was like, "Do you want to go to the next level?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he goes, "Well, we got to make you a point guard. You can't be a shooting guard like you were in AAU." So honestly, my first 2 years were really just a learning curve of me learning the system, learning how to be a point guard, learning the position, learning how the high school game works. And then so just from there, like from freshman year on, it was just there's a lot of battles, a lot of mental battles, a lot of nervous battles. But then, of course, like with Coach Rebo and the rest of the staff alongside me, even my teammates, like just able to push through, able to just come together and just, you know, bond into the system.
So, you know, you mentioned AAU, and I want to touch on that. But before that, you know, first 2 years of high school, it feels like one of the guys that really helped you out as a mentor was Dante Russell, right? And I mean, you're around a lot of experienced guys that are playing college basketball today, but he's just one guy that really sticks out to me, you know. What did his sort of relationship mean to you?
I still love Dante to this day. I mean, I always think about what he says, just about being selfless, and just always being a winner, you know, being a dog. And he was a man of words, but he also was a man of actions. And the way he carried himself on and off the court just really kind of stuck by me. And I've always thought about him, always loved about him to this day.
Yeah, you know, I feel like one of the real strengths of your game that might not be talked about as much as some other aspects is like the basketball IQ on the court, right? You know, always doing the right thing, making the right decisions, not forcing anything. And I think that Dante really did that well also. Would you credit him partially for helping you get there?
Oh, for sure. I credit him and also credit Coach Rebo. There are times in like AAU, of course,
Yeah.
when like I wouldn't jump stop on 2 feet and make the extra pass to the corner. And then now like learning about it in practice with Dante, with Coach Rabibo, that helped me bring the game down to simpler terms. You know,
Yeah.
the game was now easier. It's now easier. Back then, it was kind of hard, but then now just constantly going through it in practice, and ended up paying off.
So AAU's definitely played a big part in your basketball career aside from high school and Harvard Westlake. So club and then specifically EYBL the past couple of years. You played on Vegas Elite this summer and if I'm correct, the summer before as well, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I think this summer specifically, you're coming out of winning a state championship and you have all this momentum and you sort of build off of it with, a phenomenal summer campaign for Vegas Elite. What was that experience like this year specifically?
It was a great year, but it was also a tough transition,
Yeah.
And to be honest, wasn't the first option because we had other guys like John Mobley Jr., Tyron Stokes, Aiden Sherrill,
Yeah.
All 4- and 5-star guys. They were the guys on their own high school team, and it was a tough transition just because going from high school to AAU, it's more of like fast pace, like you kind of like pick a ball a little bit. So it was a good season though, just because we got to travel a lot.
Yeah.
Went to the Peach Jam finals. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but there were still a lot of lessons and experiences gained from that. And I was very fortunate to be on the platform and to be in front of all those college coaches and just to be able to play in front of fans as well.
Yeah, so that sort of leads me into my next question. Watching, EYBL compared to Mission League basketball, there's a lot of differences. And obviously the Mission League, one of the best leagues in the country, a lot of talent. There's a bunch of talent in EYBL also, but like
Right.
the specific gameplay, right? It's a bit more ball dominant, ISO type stuff. What is the biggest difference in your opinion between Mission League basketball and EYBL?
I think the biggest thing actually in high school period is like it's more structured. Every coach has their own system, has their own game plan. Every coach, like in high school, you're practicing every day. You're going through constant like film and just how to do certain things against other different teams. Where in AAU, it's kind of different because everybody is also like traveling from across the like different states in here and then, and it's hard to really get practice time in AAU. So there's like very little plays. There's very little like defensive concepts and all that. So I think the biggest difference between high school and AAU is just being able to be with your team more and be able to be with the coaches more, because times in practice is when like everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
And sometimes in AAU it's not all the way like that.
Yeah. So got to touch on, making school history, winning Open Division state championship last year. What were the emotions like after beating St. Joseph's in Sacramento?
A lot of different emotions. I think I thought I was gonna cry, but I didn't. Kind of held it in. I think I don't know if Brady did or not, but I know he did against Corona Centennial. But I think it was just like it was relief. It was weight off our shoulders because losing to St. John Bosco in the Southern section, it was like a heartbreaker. And then finding out that we weren't still going to be able to play in the Southern Section Championship was still like, from then we had two choices. We either folded and not really cared about the state championship because other teams do that, or we try to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
And for us, we chose option 2, of course, go out with a bang. And, we just went through so much with each other, a lot of adversity. We put in all that work and we said, you know what, we need to win something. We put in all that work. We're not going to do it for nothing. We're not going to do it. We're just going to do it for ourselves, and we're going to do it for our team. We're going to do it for our coach, and got the job done.
You say adversity, and that's sort of the word that sticks with me about last season. You just said it. You lost to Bosco. And to get to the position to be in the state championship, you had to win against West Ranch 2 days later. West Ranch, great team, right? I mean, it's open division pool play. Everyone is, and it's coming off arguably, one of the toughest losses in your career, just, with the stakes and everything. How are you guys able to sort of bounce back from that loss and rally for a huge game like that just 2 days later?
I mean, Coach always says the biggest game is the next game, no matter who your opponent is. Each game has to be taken with a lot of respect and a lot of will and a lot of fight. And I think it's all credit to Coach. He's always pushing us. He's always having us move on. Like if we have a bad play, we move on. Have a bad game, move on. If we lose a game, move on. Well, we got to go to the drawing board. And so going into that West Ranch game, we're like, well, we have this motto: we don't lose 2 in a row.
Yeah.
We don't lose 2 in a row games, and we're always going to bounce back. So then going into that West Branch game, of course, we knew the stakes. There were still stakes on the line. Still going to the Open Division state. We didn't want to go D1. We wanted to be in the highest division possible.
I think you and I sort of know the yearly tale of Harvard Westlake basketball having trouble, against Corona Centennial, Sierra Canyon, not being able to sort of get over that hump. You've been on the team, 2 years ago that beat Sierra Canyon, got over that hump, and then last year beating Corona to get over that last sort of barrier that was blocking you guys from sort of reaching all the goals that you had in front of you. What did it take, sort of, in your opinion, to get over that hump and sort of reach the next level, I guess?
Took a lot of resilience. For Corona Centennial, we played that team about like 7 different times. Summertime in Section 7, we even lost to them in the Section 7 championship. And it came to a point where, for me personally, I was like, I'm tired of losing to this team. I want to beat this team. Especially we lost at home by 20 to them the previous year. We had to get it back, and I think everybody was on the same page with that.
That's why, adversity just sounds, it really represents the season so well. You just said it, you lost to them in Section 7 before the year, or the regular season even started. What was the energy like before the Corona game last year in the locker room? What was Coach saying to you guys?
Last year?
Yeah, before you beat Corona last year.
It was a lot of emotions, to be honest. I don't quite remember it like that, but I think it was just another game. We were preparing it like it was another game. Corona Centennial, whoever it is, I think Coach Bebo was still like going over the game plan, going over scout, saying that we could do this. We're in this position because we worked for it.
Yeah.
And whatever happened the previous year, we're a different team. We could beat these guys, and we're right there. And that was the day to do it.
After that game specifically, I sort of vividly remember you like embracing your parents right after the game, right when the buzzer sounded, giving them a hug. My next question, I guess, is about family. It's evident that your parents play a big role in your life, on and off the court. How have they helped you deal with, adversity and overcoming challenges in your basketball career?
They've been with me through so much, honestly, like ever since freshman year when it was a learning curve, because we didn't know what to expect, honestly. Coach Bebo had a plan, but it was still hard for not only me, but for my parents. And, they always talk me through it. They're like, Bebo has a plan, he's going to help you. Like, this is the school for you. And from now, up until now, it's like they're still telling me that. They're still telling me, like, if I ever have a bad game or ever had a bad practice, something like that, like, they're always saying, like, well, you got to do better, you got to move on. Because now, like, even my parents and Bebo, they talk a lot.
Yeah.
And just making sure I'm in the best position I am. So family is everything for me.
You recently committed to USC. Congratulations, first of all. Did staying close to parents and family at home in LA play a big factor in that decision?
Yeah, for sure. I think it played a really, really big part. Throughout the entire recruiting process, I was very open to, other places. Of course, location really didn't matter. But when it came down to it, I just said, what, I want to be home. I want to be close to my parents. I want to be close to my family. I want to represent my hometown, playing for the hometown team. I don't want to, quote unquote, start somewhere brand new. I wanted people to like know who I am, and why not do it where I live.
So aside from that aspect of the commitment, what else sort of went into that decision? What was really the key factor of USC against some other schools, I guess?
I mean, at USC, you just have a lot of connections. You're gonna have it's LA. You're gonna have a lot of connections. With different people who are like millionaires, even billionaires, and just have connections outside of like everything else. And at USC, there's also like they play through their guards.
Yeah.
They always play against the best competition. Unfortunately, they lost to Gonzaga, but they play teams like Gonzaga.
Yeah.
They play in other big tournaments, and they always have a good path to the league, great path to the league. So, to be honest, it was a tough decision. At the end of the day, I feel like it was the right decision.
You mentioned the league and the long lineage of USC, specifically guards going to the NBA. How often do you sort of think about that goal maybe at the end of the tunnel? Is that really what pushes you at the end of the day, you think?
Right. I mean, I've been dreaming about going to the league ever since I touched the basketball.
Yeah.
That's the thing that drives me. Of course, like I'm always going to stay in the present, try to win all the games I can in high school and even in college when I step foot. But of course, the league is what drives me. I want to go to the league, and I'm working my best and working my hardest to pursue that goal.
I got to touch on Colorado really quickly because I know that they were one of the first schools to start recruiting you.
Yeah.
And I know that, you went out to Boulder a couple of
Yeah.
times and, coaching staff came to LA a little bit. How was that a difficult decision to make? Was that one of the tougher things you had to do in the recruiting process, saying no to Colorado?
Oh yeah, I think not only for Colorado, but it was difficult saying no to Stanford. Difficult saying no to TCU. Difficult saying no to Oregon.
Yeah.
It was difficult saying no to my top six, my
For
final
sure.
six, just because building a relationship for like 2 years now. They're really great people. They're really great people at Colorado. Really great people at Stanford, and it was really tough.
Yeah.
But I'm still fortunate enough to hopefully we'll be able to talk to them down the line because right now I cannot due to a lot of rules. But I'm glad that there were no like bridges burned.
Yeah.
And so it was tough, but it was also like it was good.
So on another note, you are a big sneakerhead. USC does have a bit of a Nike deal. They're also now a Mamba school or whatever it's being called. What shoes are you most excited to be playing in college?
Of course, Kobe's. I mean, USC's a Mamba school.
Yeah.
We're gonna get all the Kobe's. I've been bringing out some Kobe's, and during the games, I got the Kobe 8 Halos.
Yeah,
I got the Kobe 4 Mambacitas. I got the Grinches.
Yeah.
I have the Think Pink 6s. So I'm very excited to rock some Kobe's.
You mentioned all these different models. Which is your favorite? If you could only pick one model of Kobe.
Oh wow,
It's a tough question, I know.
that is a tough question. Wow, they're all really great shoes, but I think my favorite ones have to be the 6s.
Okay.
I think for me personally, they're the lightest, and I can move really well in them, and they're low tops, and they have great traction and everything.
Yeah.
So I think right now those
Good
are the
balance
best.
of like
Oh, yeah.
looks and
For sure.
feel also.
Exactly.
Yeah. So in the past year, not only the HW basketball teams gained a lot of media traction, but you yourself have also. I remember the day that you committed to USC. You're on the front page of ESPN. Top headlines, stuff like that. Does it feel a little surreal to you that that's all going on? Like, do you try and enjoy the moment, or do you try and sort of push all that to the side? Because different people do it differently.
No, I always try to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
Especially like for where I grew up, where I came from, West Covina. You don't see a lot of D1 athletes coming out of that city. And for me to be able to be different and for me to be able to do something not only as my original city has done, but my family. Probably the first one who's gotten like a full ride scholarship to sign up to play D1. And of course, like taking it all in is also being grateful. I'm grateful for everything that has came apart. And so I always just try to just take in every moment because not everybody gets to live it. So of course, I think pushing it away is not a good thing in my opinion. But everybody has their own ways.
No, I mean, I think that's like a really awesome way to look at it.
Yeah.
And I think that not everyone has the maturity to be able to sort of handle that and also sort of stay humble. But you really do an amazing job of that, which is, I guess, why you're so good on the court. I want to go back to a year ago myself. I was in these seats with your former teammate Brady Dunlap. I asked him towards the end of the interview, for the team to accomplish all their goals that they want to accomplish this year, what are you specifically trying to work on in your game? And he said, I want to be more aggressive. Coach Rabibo said, this my senior year, I want to force more turnovers, more steals, and just be, all over the ball on both sides of the court. And, watching Brady, I think his game definitely progressed in that way. He became more aggressive and, the team did accomplish all their goals, so those sort of worked out. In your case now, in your senior year, if the team wants to, complete going back-to-back, winning state, completing all the goals along the way, what aspect of your game are you trying to focus on in your senior year?
Honestly, I'm going to just keep being me.
Yeah.
I think my game is very all around, and as a leader, I'm very vocal. I'm always trying to be positive to everybody and making sure like everybody is on the same page. So of course I'm gonna keep improving on my game in all aspects. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna just keep being myself because being the leader, being the point guard, it takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of dedication. But of course I did it last year, so I'm gonna do the same thing again this year.
I want to touch on your relationship with Robert Hinton. You guys have been playing together since 7th grade, developed a pretty special bond. That I don't think you can really find amongst another set of teammates in Southern California, really, the deep bond that you've had. How has your relationship sort of grown with him over the past 5-6 years?
Man, It's been a great relationship, honestly. And behind closed doors, people think like it's all like we're always happy with each other, but with great relationships, there's always the times when you kind of butt heads a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think you can either go one of two ways. You either don't mess with the person anymore, or the relationship grows stronger. And of course, with me and Robert, it just grew stronger. And I think because of those moments has made our time even better than it has before on and off the court, because he's always there to pick me up. He's always there, just to laugh and joke around. And so the times off the court really help with the times on the court because I know like what he's going to do, what his tendencies are, and then it just goes both ways.
Yeah, you talk about butting heads off the court. I kind of want to touch about butting heads on the court because from a glance, right, you play these two sort of different styles of basketball that, someone that might not watch a lot of Harvard Westlake basketball would think like these two styles don't really mesh together. How does this work? But it works out really well, and you guys complement each other really nicely. How was that instant, or did that take time to sort of build that chemistry and connection where you guys sort of complement each other's styles?
I think in high school it was instant. Middle school was still like it's still kind of hard, because Robert was still like trying to get his buckets and everything. But when it came to high school, I quickly adapted to his game, and I knew like, especially learning the role from Rabibo, also kind of just putting two and two together. So of course in transition, always find Robert. That dude's a great finisher. And also like whenever Robert has the ball, like run down the court because he's gonna find you.
Yeah.
So it's always like it took a minute to adapt in middle school, but in high school for sure it clicked like that.
So I want to wrap up by asking you this. There's a real chance this team can, go undefeated, win league, win CIF, win state, all these goals, right? And, the talent's there, that's evident. That isn't really the question. I want to talk about off the court, what's one thing that this team needs? What's going to be key to accomplishing all these goals?
I think just staying together. Like every year, our team always stays together off the court. We're always laughing, we're always joking, and we're always just on the same page. So I think the team right now just still needs to stay together, still not branch off in different ways because other teams are different. And I think our culture is just always staying connected, being a brotherhood on and off the court. So I think we just need to keep doing that, and we'll have a lot of success along the way.
Trent, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat. I'm Jake Lance for HW Media. You can catch the guys in Taper Gym as they try and continue this amazing undefeated season. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in to another HW TV one-on-one.